up this week, I share with you what could be the best diet on earth. Hey everybody, it's Kalymnios here from thethoughtgym.com, here helping you become the best leader I know you can be. Giving you all the things that you need in order to think, feel and be superhuman. And this week I'm going to share with you what could be potentially the best diet or lifestyle eating practice, I should say, in the world. Bold claims, bold statements, but that's really just to hook you in. You can decide whether it really fits with you or not. The reason I'm sharing this video with you is because I've never really spoken outwardly about what I eat until, well, at least on camera, until a couple of weeks ago. I was speaking at Veg Fest and I released the talk and I thought to myself, you know, I've never actually really outwardly said what my philosophy on eating is. It's too much for a short video like this, but I will give you the highlights. And that is this idea that I like to call Panlo 80-20. Panlo is the culmination of really the kind of questions that I ask myself when I'm looking at food. And this comes about really through studying lots of different types of eating, whether that's vegan or paleo or alkaline diet or whatever it might be, and just drawing the best bits from all of them and really experimenting with myself and seeing really if it works for me or not. And I realised that there were 5 kind of key questions that I would be asking myself, and they kind of fit nicely into this acronym PANLO. So let me explain what it is very quickly. First one is P, and that is plant-based. Whatever kind of diet that you look at, anything worth its salt, whether that's paleo, if you read it properly, vegetarian, vegan, wild diet, farm to table, all of these kind of diets, they will play a heavy emphasis on plants, specifically vegetables more than fruits, and that's what I would go with. And it's this idea that your main meal should be vegetables. The other things, okay, that might be personal preferences, ethically, environmentally, what you believe from a scientific point of view, how you feel physically, where you are, but the overwhelming evidence is that plants equals good. In fact, for me, plants equals super. So plant-based, P for plant-based. So whatever you're looking at, get those plants in. The next one is A, and that is it alkaline? So there's this idea that the body has different pHs, potential hydrogen levels. So you've got acidic down the scale of like 1s and 2s, that's where your Coca-Colas live. And you've got high alkaline, which is where your vegetables generally live, all the way up to 14. So it goes between 1 and 14 the scale, 7 being in the middle, which is neutral, which is the kind of pH you'd expect most waters to be at. And the body has got different levels of pH, different organs. But the most important one from an energy point of view, from a life point of view, from my perspective, is the pH of the blood. The blood is the river of life, and that has a very slightly alkaline pH, 7.365. Now it will do everything it can to stay at that pH. If it moves, you're basically going to be very ill and you're going to die. So your blood won't actually change pH, regardless of kind of what you put into it effectively. So when people talk about being too alkaline and too acid, it's really a bit of a simplification. But the idea is that in order to maintain that pH, the body or the blood has to draw on nutrients from elsewhere. It has to work very hard. And the more acidic food that you put into your diet, the more it needs to work. Now, acidic foods will be things like your meats, your dairies, your fried food, your processed food, your coffees, your alcohol, your Coca-Cola, biscuits, crisps, chips, all the fun stuff basically. Except for vegetables, which are also really fun, especially if you make them well. So the idea is that you predominantly put an alkaline emphasis on your diet because it takes a lot more alkalinity to neutralize anything that you get into your system from an acid point of view. So you need like 20 times as much alkalinity as you do acidic stuff, because the strength is just too much that you need quite a lot to counteract the acidic effects. So you wouldn't eat a completely alkaline diet, and it's very hard to do that anyway, especially if you eat anything like, you know, rice or grains or anything like that. It's going to be quite acidic as well. So that's the question, is aim for more alkaline foods, which tends to be the vegetables. Some fruits, but not so many. They can be quite acidic as well because of the amount of sugar in them. So that's my second one, A for alkaline. Is the food alkaline? And as a rule of thumb, vegetables generally are. Next up we've got N, and N stands for natural. Does that food look like something that would have been produced out in nature? Or is it a million miles away? Has it been heavily changed and processed? So can I, if I'm making like a curry, I can see that that broccoli piece looks like the broccoli I might buy in the store. You know, it's the kind of broccoli I would find out in nature as well. But if it's maybe like a plant-based vegetarian vegan burger, yes, it might be plant-based, might even be alkaline, but it doesn't really look like something I would just pick up off the ground or off a tree. So maybe I'm having that not as much as maybe something that does look natural. So that's what the N stands for. Does it look like something your grandmother would recognize? Does it look like something you would recognize out in nature? L stands for live or lightly cooked. The problem we have is that we tend to overcook a lot of our vegetables, a lot of our food, and we destroy vital nutrients, we destroy vital enzymes that are needed for the digestion of that food and really to absorb all the goodness within them. So the idea is, can you make as much of it lightly cooked or steamed or stir-fried, steam-fried, raw, like salads and quite a lot of vegetables as well you can have raw. It doesn't mean you have your entire meal raw, but you've got to have quite a lot of it raw. It gives you so much energy, so much vitality. In fact, you can see, if you're into this and you buy into this idea of Kalymnios photography, you can see the difference between a cooked vegetable and a raw vegetable, just the energy field that comes off of those things. And it's really, really impactful to your health, vitality, energy when you eat a lot of lightly cooked or raw foods into your diet. So L stands for live or lightly cooked, lightly steamed. And lastly, we've got O for organic. This is maybe somewhat controversial for some people because they don't believe that organic is generally better. I think there's evidence coming in that it has more nutrients now, it's better for you, and to be honest, let's be honest, if something's being sprayed with chemicals to kill insects and other beings, and it goes into the soil, goes everywhere, do you really want that plant to be drawing up all those poisons into itself, which is what it does when it comes from the soil, and you to be ingesting it? Now, I don't want you to get all crazy about this and think I can't eat anything if it's not organic, because that's not me either. Like I said, I follow this as much as I can, but I'm not going to be fretting about organic. Now, if I'm buying a bunch of veg, I'll have an organic veg delivery, but even that has only been the last couple of years. It wasn't forever. So start where you are. Maybe just buy 1 or 2 things organic, maybe get some veg deliveries, but don't sweat it when you're out at a shop or a restaurant with people and being that difficult one that can't eat that food because it's not organic, or the restaurant or the waiter doesn't know if it's organic. Don't get into that trap. But just think to yourself, where I can, where I've got control in my domain, let me start introducing slowly a little bit more organic. Do your own research on that if you don't really buy into it, and it's fine if you don't buy into it, but that's what my PANLO acronym stands for: plant-based, alkaline, natural, live or lightly cooked, and organic. And I call it PANLO 80-20 because I want to follow that Pareto's principle kind of idea, where it's 80% of the time you can do it PANLO, and that 20% just leave room for the desserts, the chips, the whatever else floats your boat, because it's very challenging to be 100% of anything, and you put too much stress onto your body trying to be sometimes 100%. But if you go for 80%, maybe even 90%, you're going to be okay. And like I say, you're not maybe going to hit all of the letters PANLO every meal, but if you can hit 3 or more of those 80% of the time, so 4 meals out of 5 or 3/4 of your plate, you're going to be pretty good. And the closer you get to a full plate of PANLO and the more letters you get from the PANLO idea, you're going to be pretty good. Okay, that's my simple approach to eating. I don't count calories. I've never counted calories or proteins or fats or carbs. I do get enough protein in my diet because I eat quite a lot, and there's shed loads of protein in vegetables that you wouldn't expect. Plus I have quite a lot of nuts and seeds every day. I don't have that many lentils and beans and things, and I don't eat meat, shock horror, or fish or animal products, but you get enough protein elsewhere. It's really not a problem. The other thing you need to really be looking at is fat. You want to be getting enough good quality fat in your diet. It's not anything to be afraid of. The media will soon catch up with the research and those people with their ear to the ground. now knowing that fat is actually good for you. Fat does not make you fat. You want to get some good high quality fats. You don't want anything like trans fats in, you don't want anything artificial. But if you've got things like avocados, coconut fat, nuts and seeds, this is great. This is what your body needs, what your brain needs. So there's a lot around food that maybe we haven't covered in this video, but if you just go with this gentle pan-low 80-20 approach, make sure your food is largely plant-based, it's alkaline, it's natural, it's live, it's organic where possible, and if you do that the majority of the time, for the majority of your plate, you're gonna find that you're gonna feel better, you're gonna have more energy, you're gonna have better focus, better productivity, you're not gonna get ill as much. So many things change for you. I can't tell you how amazing it is to feel just great and be in control of your body. And you have a large part to play in that. It's not a genetic postcode or lottery for most things, I've got to say. Maybe there's the odd exception, there always is, but if you go with the pan-low 80-20 approach, maybe you will agree with my opening statement that it could possibly be the best diet or lifestyle eating practice, we should call it, out there. Okay, I'll let you decide that. So until next time, please remember to subscribe, maybe share this one with other people. It might help them with their food, their energy, their diet goals, whatever it might be. Remember to, like I said, subscribe to the channel, and until next time, think about this pan-low idea, take it forward, think about your meals, and remember to do what you can to think, feel and be superhuman. Bye bye.